But to start off, where are we going today? Are we going to have fun?
Some of you have the iBook function. Okay, you can do this, or you flip your hand. iPod too. Okay. And we all have digital cameras, so you can switch to digital cameras. Take pictures of everybody. All the way. Back to screen mode, classic screen mode. With your right hand, burn the CD. Okay? Take the CD out, you can put the CD back in your back pocket. Feel free at any time, put it back in, boot your computer up. Okay? And you can watch everything that we see today. So really make sure when we see cool stuff, because we're going to see a lot of neat things, from sphagnum moss to mushrooms to birds. We got really big woodpeckers in our park called pileated woodpeckers. If we're really lucky, we'll see them. Okay, so we're all good. But the other thing this teaches us is, ready for this, New Maryland? It teaches us the difference between our lefts and our rights. So one of your hands makes the big letter L. You're a good man.
My dad.
Yeah, your dad's a good man. We must have gone to the same university, your dad and I. We learned our left and our right, so you and me. Okay? So, drop your left hand. Take a little step back. Just without tripping on this stuff. What I want to get, guys, is a circle where we're all side by each. So you guys look like a bunch of amoebas in a petri dish where you're all clumped up. Okay?
What does that even mean?
Back up a little bit. You guys come in a bit. There we go. So we're all side by each. This guy's got water in it, and the water falls and goes down to the roots, and it's all one big circle. We're all connected to that every day of our lives. That's the important one to remember. Okay? So here's the game. You guys ready? When I say 1, 2, 3, go, and not before. When I say 1, 2, 3, go, what I want you to do is try and snatch the thumb of the person on your left. Okay, Marcus doesn't want his thumb to be caught, so try and get away. He's way too slow. Try and get away. He's way too slow. Okay, so back up again. When I say go, we're all going to try and do it. Try and snatch the thumb of the person, right, on your left, and you want to pull your thumb away. Ready? Wait.
Did they go?
Say to go, yeah.
What a competitive group.
They are.
Here we go.
I don't know. Somebody made a mistake somewhere.
Est-ce qu'il y a quelqu'un ici qui parle français?
Oui.
1, 2, 3, vas-y! Another thing I'd like to work on, guys. Only 49 of us?
No, there's 52.
Okay.
There's 52
Go right over.
Thank you. Okay.
Quick.
But you guys are experimenting, all right, a little bit. But what I want us to do is be gentle, because what we're about to do here is called the tug of peace. Okay. This shows us what circles are all about. If I decide to come to the circle, let's say I circle. If I decide to come to the circle and do what these guys are doing and start pushing and pulling, you guys are all going to feel that, right? Just like when I come to school first thing in the morning, if I'm a happy camper, that's going to spread out to everybody. If I'm really grumpy, that's going to spread out to everybody too. So this is a good way of showing us how one single person can make a big difference to the whole group. Okay? If we can't do this, all it takes is one person to not do what we're about to try and do. Okay? Here's what we need to do. Lean back gently. Gently. Just lean back. Everybody needs to be leaning back. Both hands on. Trust the rope. Stay on it.
Somebody told me the story and I thought it was very appropriate.
In the woods we go.
You have to wear orange. Yeah, because that's the only thing I'm scared about. And guess what? I mean, if it's nighttime, guess what though? My dad has 3 shotguns. That's the easiest thing to shoot. I know, and if you come, you can call the police. I'm proud of you. Everyone needs to leave.
So today's going to be a day of lots of questions. and hopefully you guys have lots of questions for me, but I know I have tons of questions for you. Where do you think these leaves came from? Just any kind? Those big green trees over there? Okay, so let's say you guys had to teach really little kids all about trees. The two big family of trees are close. You got that's too specific. Yeah, Gabe, you know what we're gonna do? Just leave those next to open. Okay, we're gonna leave all the sticks down on the ground. Okay, so the big family, two big families of trees are, see the ones who've lost their leaves? There's some that still have some yellow leaves on up there. Those guys are, for today, we're going to call them hardwoods. Okay, hardwoods are the trees, the family of trees that lose their leaves in, exactly, okay. Conifers, this is where it gets confusing because they can be called evergreens too, but we'll call them conifers, right? Are the big green ones that keep their leaves year round. Those are the two big families of trees. And you guys talked about pines and oaks. Pines are members of the conifers. Oaks are members of the big leaf trees. Okay, so here's a question before we do our next activity. When these big leaf trees, or the hardwoods, lose their leaves, falls to the ground, what happens to these leaves? They just disappear? What happens? Oh, good word. Decompose into what?
Little bits. Nutrients.
Not dirt. Dirt's what you get behind your ears. Soil, exactly. So remember what I was saying about how when we eat our lunch? It turns carrying trees.
Oh, no fair. You got two trees.
1, 2,
They said nobody took this.
3, 4, 5. Now here's our challenge. This is a serious challenge. Even university students have a hard time with this one. I want you guys.
Look, Sasquatch! I found Sasquatch!
Holding your bag, all right? But what we want to try and do is go across one after the other in a nice long line, okay? But I want you guys, because outdoors is a really good place to imagine things. Imagine, you guys know where's the biggest mountain in New Brunswick? No, Mount Everest is the biggest one in the world. You're right. Biggest one in New Brunswick. Go ahead. Nope, bigger than crab. Anybody? Yep.
Sugarloaf?
Nope. Bigger than Sugarloaf. Nope, that's in Africa.
Get out of the water there, Brianna.
Mount Carlton. Mount Carlton.
Alligator.
Mount Carlton, you ready for this? Here's some advanced math. Mount Carlton is, anybody been to Mount Carlton?
Look, you can really
This is why I like being in the
especially
back.
down in through there. Look. See when the beaver's already starting to knock that great big tree?
Isn't that? Oh yeah! Look at it! I know, I see it.
Look on the other side. That's all the
Yeah, the beaver started on quite an adventure on that tree.
That is right. Ow.
You want to get in there? I wouldn't.
This is awesome.
Well, this is what I've asked for the
Look at
last
that
3
one.
years.
Really?
And this is the one I want to do, and I've never gotten it. So, what are you pulling me up for?
Ew, there's mushrooms.
There's a beaver that had quite an industrious day. Woo! Probably the biggest beaver lodge I've seen in a very long time. A huge pond.
Oh my gosh, it's so big.
Hanging out at a beaver pond, having our snack.
That's a good one, Tanner. I'll get that.
He's at my house now, Papa Girl.
Yeah, I know. I've been talking to him. We're all going out for moon.
Uh-oh, there's Sasquatch again. It's Bigfoot. It's Bigfoot. Here he comes, Bigfoot. Learning about beavers.
They have to make their own house.
Lots of
Yeah.
competition.
How long would a beaver live?
How old would a beaver live?
No, how long would it be?
How long would a beaver live?
Oh, you don't have to be with that.
That would be my first guess, in around 15. But you guys can Google it and find out, and I'll check it and find out too. But I think that's what it is. A beaver, while we're talking about 15, is another one that just jumped to mind. How long do you think a beaver could stay underwater for? Yeah, it's another 15. 15 minutes. You guys ever tried to do anything like that? No. Try holding your breath for 30 seconds underwater. Pretty tough.
I've done that. No. I hold my breath. I can do it for a full minute.
Okay, so we got one more thing, and then we're gonna go back the way we came, and we're gonna stop and do another beaverology.
Hey, listen, please.
Here's the last thing we're gonna talk about.
Boys.
There's only 2 animals on Earth that adapt their environment to themselves. Most other animals adapt to where they live, right? Adapt to their habitat. What's habitat? A beautiful place where they just like wetland is land that's wet. Exactly. So what are the 2 types of 2 animals that adapt their environment? Themselves. Nope. We just talked about one. Beaver's one. What's the other one?
Platypus.
You know what? There's billions of these animals.
Dolphin.
And they change pretty much everything they touch. They take wetlands, they drain them. They take wetlands, they us. Human beings. Those are the only 2. Okay? So I want you guys to keep, while we're walking through, have a look. See how the beavers changed things? They made their dam there. They flooded all this. And if we had more time, we could come back and we could search for invertebrates, creatures that have no backbones that live in there. When we first landed here, we saw ducks. Moose loved this place, right? So this was created by a beaver to create a wetland that benefits all of us. And all of us. Yes, go ahead.
Beavers use it, they also have the community, they also use it so you don't usually have flooding all over the place.
Yeah. Everybody do this. That's what we've got underneath. All the muscle and fat and connective tissue.
Why is the teeth yellow?
That's a good question. What's your first name?
Avery.
Avery? Very good question. We've already ascertained, right, that the beaver chews trees down with his or her teeth. Do we agree? Yes. Okay. Avery just asked, why is this yellow? It's kind of orangey yellow, right, Avery? The outside is hard, just like steel. The inside is soft. So when the beaver chews, which do you think wears down first? The soft part. The soft part. And the hard part stays, and it's sharp. To cut down a tree that's about as big as the one where Mr. Dunn is, how long do you, this is another kind of minute question. How many minutes do you think it would take to cut down a tree like that? About 20. That's pretty darn fast, right? Imagine that. Do you think a beaver would like to chew a tree like that down?
Yeah.
How come? There's a question, because we've already learned it. Yes, well, is that a hardwood tree? Does that lose its leaves in the fall?
Yeah.
No, these guys are cedars. They're evergreen. They leave their leaves. Beavers wouldn't like them. They like aspen, birch, maple, all those good ones. Exactly. So let's learn a couple more things. Are there eyes? Imagine this was our skull. Our eyes would be like that? No.
That's the tiniest head ever.
Anybody else know anything cool about beaver eyes?
Big.
Everybody close your eyes. Imagine you're a beaver and we're swimming underwater. Oop, bump. I just bumped into a great blue heron. Oop, bump. They can see underwater. Exactly. How can they see underwater?
Because they have eyes.
Close.
They don't.
Nope. They have a whole other set of eyelids. They're just like scuba masks. So down go their scuba mask eyelids, boom. Up come these ones, like ours, and they can see perfectly underwater.
I just have a question.
Yep.
They're just like goggles. No.
It's a good question. Nose. Everybody do this.
Goggles that
Before they go under, they've got valves that close in their nose. They got valves that close in their ears. They got a big flap of skin at the back of their throat. So when they're carrying things, water doesn't go down their throat like branches and things like that. Right? That would be his nose, exactly. Just like if we were just skull, we don't have any nose. Nose is all flesh, right?
Why does he have other teeth inside?
Oh, good question. Good question. These are
Good
grinders.
question.
Because what do they like to eat most of all? Bark. You think it'd be like they can cut with these teeth, but it'd be awful hard to scrunch and grind them. Good question. Right? And if you look at the surface of it, they're all kind of wound around, so there's all sorts of surface area to cut and grind. Yeah.
Where are their ears?
Right here.
Those are
Way far back. Yep. Good question. Where did I find this? I didn't find this. This comes from the Forest Ranger School, okay, which is called the Maritime College of Forest Technology now.
It was
And
road
when you
pizza.
guys graduate from high school, that's open for you to go too, right? Alatchi, the Maritime College of Forest Technologists, they built this bridge right here, or this viewpoint. They built our benches, right? They love being out in nature and they love learning about nature and teaching about nature. Part of their studies is creating a skull and a pelt. And this poor beaver was killed, was a roadkill beaver, right? Was hit by a car. But rather than him being just chucked aside, he went to the Forest Ranger School and they created this so we can all learn about beavers, right? And if we learn about beavers and what they do and their value to the environment, right? Then we know how important all that is. And how important it is to keep it on the front if you want. Lots of places on the floor, guys.
A great spot to stop at in the rain.
Isn't that awesome?
Hands up when we're done. Everybody needs to be listening to this. Everybody needs to be listening.
5, 4, 3.
Who saw the yellow fungus coming up? Okay, good. Good. So we got a few eyes going. Who saw the white fungus coming up?
Girls, sit down,
Who
please.
saw the big holes about that big made by the woodpecker? Hey, good for you guys. That's what it's all about.
At least. Going down. Going down.
Beaveristic! Yes.
That's a good one. Beaveristic has it so far.
Good. Good. Cool.
I can't hear.
Beaverlicious. Extraordinary beaver. Here, fantastic.
Very good. Good.
We're going to follow the circle. You know.
Awesome. Give yourselves a big hand. Well done. You came out in the wet and everybody survived.
What do we say to Mr. Smith? Stay in your circle.
Beaveristic.
Stay in the circle.
Quickly.
1, 2, 3. What do you say?
Thank you.
Thank you. Right back at you. Great day. Way to go.
Turn to your left. Turn to your left. Turn left. Turn to your left.
Your other left.
Your other left.
Super exciting beaver.
Follow the circle around. Here we go. Excuse me, you're not in line.
Woo!
Outrageous. Yo, what's up?
You got the best hat in the whole bunch.
Woo! Woo!
Thank you so much.
You gotta smile for your parents. Smile for your parents. Woo!
Share the wetness.
Smile!
No!
You're getting on the bus! Way to go, David. I knew I could count on you.
Beaver adventure. Do we have to sit with the same partners?
Yes!
No!